All right, I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the Ruidoso Downs. City Council meeting on this day of June the 8th, 2026. The time is 5:30. Joey, would you read the pledge of allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Counselor Whitfield. Here. Counselor Dudetich. Here. Counselor Proctor.
Here.
Counselor Taylor.
Here.
Okay.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I will make the motion to approve the agenda for June 8th, 2026.
Second. Go ahead, Bob. Thank you. I'll second.
Counselor Whitfield. Aye. Counselor Proctor.
Aye.
Counselor Dudetich.
Aye.
Counselor Taylor.
Aye.
I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor will make that motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Three second. This is the agenda stated by Ms. Lacework.
Counselor Taylor.
Aye.
Counselor Proctor.
Aye.
Counselor Dudetich.
Aye.
Counselor Whitfield. Aye.
Next item will be public comments. I would open the floor to anyone from the public who would like to make comments to the governing body. I would ask that you limit it to a 3-minute time period. Address the body as a general and not in one in particular. That time would be 5:32. Anyone from the public?
That's very cool.
Is that hurry? Yes, ma'am. Would you say your name, please?
Yes, my name is Gloria Martin.
Hi, Gloria. What can we do for you?
Well, I'm here because of concerns about the late events that have happened in our community. I'm talking about the ICE or immigration
Okay.
arrests that have happened in our community, which I am really concerned. I work with the public, especially with kids, and I've seen families who have been separated and people who are afraid of even going to work because they're being stopped by the police officers. And the word is that police officers are collaborating with ICE. And so now we have a lot of concern, especially of, me working with kids.
Sure.
Have a concern. I have families that I work closely with that have been separated and it's really devastating to see that impact in our community.
Sure.
I don't know if there is a solution to this. The past 2 years, our community has suffered of devastating fires and floods. Now with the restaurant being closed, our community is suffering, financially, and now with that immigration being present in our community, it's even worse. Many families have moved out of the community because there's no place affordable to rent. There's limited places for them to rent. So what's going to happen to our community? It's really also not going to be a safe place for families and kids. They have PTSD without this happening. So that's my
Sure.
concern.
Sure. Thank you for bringing them forward. Let me assure you that the ICE presence is not anything we had anything to do with. It's a federal, all the groups, ICE and the different groups that are or may not be involved, have ultimate jurisdiction and we have no control over them. They didn't ask us if they were coming in. They didn't tell us they were coming in. They just show up. I can assure you that the police are not involved. At the state level, we're not allowed to. The only way that an officer would arrive is if there was a shots fired call or something along those lines where it's life and public safety. They're not going to assist ICE, they're not going to be part of the operations that these people are holding. I agree with you, we've as a community really been through the ringer. And I think we as the community need to hold together and just be have solidarity. We're all part of the same community, and we understand, you know, the angst that you have. And just tell them, you know, we're sorry and we understand, but I have nothing that I can do about it as far as telling them to go away. They don't listen to me. I have no control over them. They are answerable to the federal government. So if you have complaints, that would be you'd have to talk to about getting them to leave or to change their tactics or those things to their bosses, not to us. We feel you and we understand and we're supportive of you, but I can't control it. So
Yeah, and you know. I think I just called that dangerous,
that's okay.
but you know, I have seen, the presence of them mostly here in also Downs than I've seen other place. So, and that was my understanding, and the fear of the community is that police officers are working along with them. So I just wanted to, you know, make
If you
sure,
would do me a favor and tell them we're not.
okay,
That's not something that these guys are authorized or allowed to do. I know they've been present here, but I know they've been in the village too. I've spoken with the police chief over there, and he's like, yeah, they were in the village and hitting this area and that area, and he's in the same boat. So, I know they've been here, but they have been in the village, and I'm sure they've been, you know, other places in the community as well. I don't have any control. I don't know. They don't tell us what they're doing. So
is there any advice for these families? Is there any support that we can provide to assure for them? They'll be able to go back to their kiddos. I don't know.
no, I don't have any way of assuring them, based on whatever it is that the federal entities decide to do. I don't have any safe ground, no sanctuary. I don't have anywhere that we can, say is safe because they have jurisdiction over the whole country, basically.
Thank you for your time.
Yes. Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Hearing none. The next item would go to and we'll leave public comment at 5:38. The next item would be councilor comments. Councilors? Councilor Proctor.
Well, I'd like to address the comments you made. I, for one, I support ICE if they do their job right. Okay, you can't come into an area and pick a person out because of their color, race, or religion. That to me is asinine, and they shouldn't do that, but that's what they're doing. And as the mayor said, they're the federal government. We have no control whatsoever. So the only thing we do is that if they call for support, if they shoot out or anything, our officers answer it. And that's part of their job, and this is our community, and they want to make sure that what's being done has to be done right. So that explains the part of the police actually being involved only if they're called for backup. They're not there to help knock on doors or come to you and want to see your driver's license, your passport, anything like that there. Our police officers not going to do that. So, and the mayor's explained it as good as he can. And I think, I don't know how some of the other councilors feel, but I don't agree with the way they're doing it. They're being prejudiced.
Thank you.
So.
Any other comments? Thank you, sir. Councilor Gutierrez.
So I personally sympathize with the community. As you can see me, I'm very brown. My last name is not brown, but it looks brown on paper for people. My family was targeted last week in the same And I can say my family should be safe. But they weren't, they didn't feel safe. They felt targeted and I felt a certain way as well. And I sympathize with the community for that reason, because I don't know if my son would come back. He's still a minor, he looks like an adult, but he's a minor, and he would have been treated as such. Thankfully, it didn't escalate to where my heart would be broken for any of that to happen to any of the families, and for the ones that did, I mean, it's understandably very devastating, and we don't want to see families broken up. We don't want to see the community terrorized. Like Councilor Proctor said, if they're doing their job, they're doing their job. Everyone, we all have hard things to do in our jobs within our descriptions, but humanely. So all I have to say is I sympathize with the community and hope that we can find a way to stay a community. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay. Hey, so I look, there's comments, and I have a couple of, not really comments, but just want to bring things forward to you just for informational purposes. So, as you know, we contract with the Humane Society, yearly to handle our stray animals, cats and dogs mostly, but, that process has been going on for years and years and years, this current contract, was for, 200 animals. Unfortunately, we reached that, or we reached the end of the year. Generally, they want, it was 250 or 275 per animal, 250 per animal above that. We negotiated with them, and got some leeway just to get us to the end of the year. We're almost there. And so, they've allowed us 20 more animals, and hopefully we don't get to that, before they start hitting us with that large amount. And so hopefully that'll get us through. That contract will start, working on it next week. I'm right. Yes, okay. So we'll start working on the renegotiation for next week, and make appropriate adjustments there. The next thing is, as you know, we don't have currently a clerk at the front office. The water utilities clerk that was there is no longer present, and so this time of month it gets kind of crazy, and so we've been struggling a little bit to try to get juggling everything to keep everything going. And Angela's done an exceptional job, as well as everybody else picking up the slack, as well as working on the process of trying to find a replacement. We put out, we got 5 or 6 applicants. They went through the applicants, picked a couple or 3 that were most qualified and interviewed them. And they came up with an individual that they thought was going to fit our needs. In an effort to try to get her spooled up and in front of that window as quickly as possible, so we get back to the other things that we've got going right now. We've offered her a conditional offer contingent upon your approval, approval of or the passing of a background check, and year emphasis and physical. Okay, so the normal hiring things. So I would request that you allow us to continue with that so that we can get someone in place as soon as possible.
Is she on an emergency hire? Is she there temporarily until?
She's not here yet. But we were hoping as soon as she gets the contingent passed, the background, the drug test, physical, we'd like to go ahead and start her as soon as we could.
So we're just trying to shave inches off a little bit so we can get them in place a little bit faster. We've then changed the hiring process a little bit in that there are certain positions within the city that I think is critical to ensure that we're hiring the right person. And my understanding is in the past that we're cutting some corners and not doing some background checks and some checks as far as criminal history and those things. And so we've re-implemented them, and it takes a little bit longer to get that done. But I think it'll improve the quality of hire that we have, the employee that works for us, so. That's changed a little bit, we're just trying to shave some inches off.
On the note of the background check, the mayor members of council, the background check is something that's described, kind of self-paced. They get an invite and within about 2.5 hours, you can complete the background investigation, all the questions has to be asked. So it's really not going to be as fast as they want.
It's a program,
Yes, sir.
that we have purchased in order to, facilitate ensuring that we hire the correct people. And we'll do a criminal, background check, it'll do social media, it'll do whatever parameters basically that we set it up and do, so. We've built some templates for specific, positions tailored to that position and the things that we think are critical to ensure that that position is filled properly, so. That's where we're at with it.
I think here a few meetings back that we give the, if I'm not mistaken, you want to correct me, I think we give the directors and the mayor just the power to do emergency hire. So,
Yes, sir.
you,
I'm just bringing it forward to you.
okay, I'm just letting you know you got the power.
Well, I want to be as transparent as we can, let you know what we're doing. Okay. So let's see, moving on to new business. Got some reading to do. So each item will be listed for discussion and possible action. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, I missed it. I apologize. Yes, ma'am. Backing up to number 9, public hearing. Each item listed will be for discussion and possible action. The item is Infrastructure Capital Improvement Plan, ICIP, projects 2028 through 2032. Mr. Jarvis.
Mayor, members of council, if you don't mind, I'm gonna sit right here because I need to write while we discuss this with the public as well. Mayor, members of council and general public, so the ICIP is a capital improvement plan that the city could potentially apply for grants in the upcoming years. So we have a plan that we redo every year and it's for 5 years at a time. It's not a grant source, it's just a plan and it has to be on there to apply for state funds. So our current plan has the new city hall, Spaghetti Flats water and drainage improvements, the Veterans Memorial at All American Park, a splash pad at All American Park, Riverview Drive road and water line replacement, Colorado and Utah water line and drainage improvements, Hilltop Lane paving and drainage improvements, Palo Verde roads and drainage improvements, Hubbard Museum of the American West renovations, baseball field renovations, Hubbard Museum of the American West ADA ramp, a community youth and event center, and a piece of equipment for public works. So all this public hearing is for is if there's any other things that y'all would like to see done in the community as far as roads, subdivisions, things for parks. It's just to take input so we can look at applying for it in the future. And also,
Really, this is like a wish list and a priority list, correct?
yes, there's kind of a priority list, but some things don't make it on there, you know, we gotta pick our battles, and this is for 27 through 32. For 28 through 32. We can still apply for them next year, it's just how the state does it, they do 5 years, and it's a rolling 5 years. Some of these projects that are on there have been partially funded, some have been, like Spaghetti Flats, and they 100% funded. We're actually gonna be awarding the contract to the engineer next meeting to get going on design and get that subdivision taken care of. Yeah, it's just up for anything y'all would like to see on there, or any ideas, we'll gladly put them on there, and hopefully in the future we can apply for funding for it.
Do we wait till after the public?
It's public hearing.
It's currently open to the public as of 5:47, so
You should wait till.
yeah, okay.
Does the public have anything they'd like to see at it?
A lot of improvements.
It is. If we can get half of those done, it's a
Yeah.
lot for a town our size, but
That's.
you know, we're always, if you come up with something, you always come by Public Works or by City Hall, and mention it to the mayor and myself, we can definitely look at it.
Did you give them
Think
the
of
list?
something, think of something later that,
Did you give them the list?
you know, is a perfect,
Name and
whatever,
whatever,
come by, bring them by, we'll add it to the list or
always.
forward. Back to. So. We will close it at 5:50.
No, no, the councilors make a comment.
Oh, yes.
Are these listed in order of priority?
No.
They're just randomly.
So most of these projects, what I do every year, when I have to redo this new state. I just take the projects that's there and I move them up to next year, and so as they get done or completed, they fall off, you know, like. Number one, City Hall, that was 7 years ago a priority. It doesn't matter on the funding if we apply for it or not. Doesn't matter which year, which rank it is.
Thank
you.
That question.
Yes,
Go ahead. So City Hall, that's specifically, renovating the upstairs at the museum.
Yes,
For
sir.
City Hall,
Yes, sir.
but a new City Hall.
Yes.
Okay, so how does that tie in, down below? Renovations for the museum?
So the renovations for the museum are on there because we still have current grant funding that we're finishing. I'm gonna remove it more than likely, or I may just leave it and just in case something comes up for the museum, we can fix something. We can apply for it.
Is that? Going forward, we'd be able to work on part of the museum for the City Hall without,
Yes,
of course, not the whole thing.
yes. Yes.
yes, sir.
Joey, on that splash pad. Apparently something come up about it last year, and it's been in some people's minds, and now they're asking. What happens to the splash pad when we go into water restrictions?
Splash pads actually have a recycling deal where they recycle the water and we use it. I'm sure you still have to add some. But it's just like anything else. I mean, does the community want it or they don't? I mean, well, you know, I mean,
I'm just asking.
No, I get it. there is a recycling part of it. Gosh, I don't think I would ever do the recycling. Because I talked to a community that had it and they talked about the beads of the diapers falling out, getting new filters. You know, we need to do something down here besides just baseball tournaments and, you know, there's some things that we have to kind of lose on, I think, but.
Yeah.
And my second question to you is, have we got a draft back yet on the fire retention system in the museum?
No, sir.
Nothing.
Still waiting on it.
You don't see that now this year.
Well, it has to be done. They don't get paid. It has to be done by the end of this month or they lose out.
So it should be forthcoming.
Or should be coming pretty soon.
You mean, this is just the engineer's part of it?
This is just a design because the funding expires the 30th of this month. And that's all we had the money for was design of it,
We'll hear back on the 29th.
right? And the court ought to write a check the 30th.
So as to your concerns about the water restrictions, I'm sure it's like any other public facility, a pool is not going to stay open if you're in, you know, at a certain level.
Yeah, certainly, I think we could probably, you know, get by with levels 1 or 2, but we got enough levels we would have to shut down.
You know, cut it down to 1 or 2 days a week.
Right.
So I'm sure you're gonna adjust, you know.
And that's part of that stuff I told council before that. Kind of stinks, we have the water rights to do it. But we're limited on how much we can produce a minute. So that's something eventually that we're gonna have to get some money together, we're gonna have to fight. And it's gonna take a long, hard battle, but it doesn't work to have 580 acre feet and use 350 a year, it can't lose the rest. It's a battle for another day.
Sure. Gutierrez.
As far as the Veterans Memorial, well, I guess all of these, right? I would say that water lines and drainage roads are top priority for us. Do you see any of these aside from Spaghetti Flats and the museum moving forward the next year?
The Veterans Memorial, we've already received funding for it. We can't use it until the audit's clean, which we're working on. Baseball field renovations, I've applied 5 years in a row. being kicked out of it because of the audit situation. Hopefully, when that's done, we're gonna get it again next year. I'd like to get some kind of grants for that. Everybody else is getting them and I apply, but they just kick it back to me.
Right.
Yep.
I know it's a sore spot for you, but speed bumps for some of these
No, ma'am.
streets that we talked
I
about.
know.
I know some of the community that, you know, or at the very least, the signs, children at play. You know, some of the communities really concerned about, some people do like to get places faster than necessary. And, you know, that it is putting the youth at risk.
It takes enforcement from it. There's you go on some of these roads, spring, speed limit is 25. 25 is flying up that hill.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, maybe between me and Sam, we could get some kind of study done to change the speed limits. You know, but speed bumps don't work.
no.
If the
Well-
road's tore up, they complain, if
Well,
people
we
get upset
can't
because the
send
road's
them to
beat
the
up.
highway, so-
We paved it, then they complain because everybody's driving too fast.
Right.
Speed bumps tear up vehicles, and
Yeah.
it's every dollar.
Couple, at a certain point.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Riverlane and Spring Road are probably the two biggest, or the two roads that get the most stuff.
I got almost several complaints from Parker. Everyone told me about it this week, last week, yeah, so.
Yeah.
I understand people need to get places to fast, but people need to take into consideration their neighbors and the little ones, the dogs, or, you know, their cats.
Exactly. Totally agree. 25 is too fast in a lot of areas.
Thank you.
Maybe for. Okay. We will close here. Public hearing and council discussion at 5:56 p.m. Now the new business. Each item listed will be for discussion and possible action. First item A, approval to award the request for proposal number RFP 26-001P for professional engineering services.
I'd like to have a motion that states out of marriage.
Yeah, so we should know that. Public hearing, I'm supposed to take action on number 9.
Mayor, member of the council, no, this is just for discussion. We like to let the public know that we for possible, possible
I
action.
think action would have been if we had brought things forward.
Okay.
So,
Okay, thank you.
sorry. It's okay.
Motion's on the table.
I'll second.
Next. Mayor, members of council, we followed all the rules for the RFP that we set out for in engineering. After everything came in and after we did everything, Dennis Engineering came out with the highest score. So I'm here to ask that we go ahead and award Dennis Engineering the RFP contract for engineering.
I loved Dave's engineer. They're people I love them too. They're doing a really great job. We have a reputation in the state as being a Dennis engineering city. And we never use anybody else, but the last time we did this, and I was on the committee, we picked only 2 people applied. See, nobody's even applying because they know Dennis is gonna get it. But both of them applied, and so we improved them both, and Joey would ask them both. And the other company would, you tell us, Joey, would they respond?
Mayor, members of council, so this year there was 4 or 5 that actually applied. So yes, we have a unique relationship with Dennis Engineering. They're a small firm. They're not large like Parkville or Mosley Corbin. So when we awarded the second one last year, I talked to him, I said, you know, a bunch of these DOT projects we get, like some of these roads, I'll ask the state for 450,000. The state comes back and says, here's $100,000, make it work. Well, it's impossible to hire an engineer and do. So like we have a good relation, Dennis Engineering will review our work, our densities, our testing. And they will stamp those plans for a minimal amount. Where the other engineer we hired, I told him that, and he was absolutely not. If I'm not designing the whole thing, I ain't doing the work. So those big ones have a hard time scaling back to our size. So that makes it really difficult. This engineering has been with us since 2000. 2008. Oh, and we had very different people on this RFP committee review as well. So I think it was a good pick and look forward to working with them. They've been very good to us. You know, there's a lot of engineers when I worked with the village on the sewer line projects. I made a phone call to ask an engineer a question. They got a bill for $75. For what? Like a 2-minute phone call. We don't get those kinds of bills. You know, they do a lot of good work for small communities.
I endorse Dennis Engineering as well. Well,
Where are they from?
They're actually from Edgewood, but they just moved their office last year, 2 years ago to Albuquerque because they couldn't find engineers in Edgewood. They had to get closer to more people.
Yes, ma'am.
So I know that, planning and zoning was looking for engineering services as well. Would they fall into this same contract or would this be a separate contract? Cause I know, well, some of the ordinances, the way that they were written, require an engineer to oversee. And I know that has been an issue for planning and zoning.
I will have to look it up, and I will, but where this is for a city engineering company, so it's not. It's not just for works or streets or whatever, it's for the actual city. But I will double check on that to make sure, but I don't see a problem with that.
And it was a council, so they do fall under general infrastructure. They're not architecture, which is designing the buildings. Well, they've already reviewed some stuff before and we actually have a new local engineer that is helping us with FEMA. And I've already approached him about small purchases, possibly doing some stuff to sign off with. Planning and zoning if need be also. Fine covers.
Yes.
Council Park, couldn't we marry this up with a company that's doing our review of our ordinances? And slide that in, so they can review that, what areas they can review it in?
Mayor, members of council, we are able to, I think the biggest concern with doing, because the commodity code we solicited for this RFP was for general engineering services. So they are able to, but it's the funding, so if they bill us, Angela will have to ask planning and zoning what line item they have. So if they aren't pushing for those, expenses, or maybe possibly doing budget adjustments, if they are unforeseen, that might cover those expenses. But yes, we are also able to have those addressed with our legal review.
Good.
And to notify the council that report did come back and is being currently reviewed by our attorney.
I'm just curious, since it was part of our ordinances.
Sure.
But it's not. Yes, it is steadfast, it's a law. I rest.
That question is how do we pay the engineering firm? They contracted for a minimum amount of
No, sir.
time or use during the year.
For a job.
It's a job and it all depends. Most of the grants, they are paid out of grant funds. But then there's other things aligned to these DOTs that I have to pay them out of my budget for streets, for water, or whatever. To cover their fees on stuff they're doing house for us.
They're just paying by the job.
So now I'll tell you, that's
Any further discussion? So I would entertain a motion to approve the award. The request for proposal for number RFP 26-001 E to professional engineering services.
It's probably like.
Susan.
I
Mayor.
messed up, hold on.
Mayor Scott, so we have a motion on the table, but the awardee for this today needs to be into that motion. So we have Councilor Proctor, who did make the motion, but he had to amend his motion to include to award Dennis Engineering Company. So,
Make the motion to approve Dennis Engineering Company for proposal of RFP 26-001B for professional engineering services.
I'll second. Councilor Dudas? Aye. Councilor Taylor?
Aye.
Councilor Proctor?
Aye.
Councilor Lacy? Aye.
Don't say I messed up.
All right, moving on to B. All right, are you ready? Approval of resolution number 2026-12, a resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of a Colonias Infrastructure Project Fund grant agreement by and between the New Mexico Finance Authority, which is known as NMFA, and the city of Ruidoso Downs, which is in Lincoln County, New Mexico, known as the grantee, in the total amount of $4 million, evidencing an obligation of the grantee to utilize the grant amount solely for the purpose of financing the costs of design and the construction of infrastructure to direct stormwater to the Ruidoso River to minimize flooding of the area, protect city assets, and reduce potential damage to homes and properties, and solely in the manner described in the grant agreement, providing for the acceptance of a grant amount of $4 million, certifying the grant amount together with other funds available to the grantee is sufficient to complete the project. Approving the form of and other details concerning the grant agreement, ratifying actions heretofore taken, repealing all action inconsistent with the resolution, and authorizing the taking of other actions in connection with the execution and delivery of the grant agreement.
If that one will read out, the mayor just states this. I'll say.
Mayor, members of council, before you is the grant agreement for Spaghetti Flats. We've been working on it for quite a while, and with finance getting stuff together, the audits and Dora from the COG helping, they finally are gonna award the money. So we need to get this approved, and then it has to go to attorneys for the state to review. It's gonna take about a month and a half to get it fully signed. And then we can begin to.
This is the one, guys, that we were afraid we were gonna lose because of the audits.
Yeah.
There is no match and no loan commitment, so it's.
We're not gonna hear better.
100%.
Yes.
Council Proctor.
Joy, on that, is that gonna fix the water line, sewer line that crosses the bridge?
Yes, sir.
That's gonna take.
It's
care of
gonna replace the sewer line and move it up out of the riverway. And it's gonna put all new water lines, curb and drainage structures for the entire Spaghetti Flats.
I rest. That's not.
One of the people who lives in that neighborhood asked me, are they gonna take out that terrible hump? I don't know what hump they're talking about, but
There's a hook that ties in the HESCO baskets. That's actually my call tomorrow to get the attorney to give me a lesson what happens there, because property owners on one side have already tore their baskets down, so it's not necessarily doing any good.
Someone,
But I don't want to just go rip it out without somebody above me saying it's okay.
Yeah.
That's our conversation over.
Council Proctor.
Wait,
That's for forgiveness later, right?
This rather than,
Yeah.
Council Gutierrez.
Will this take care of the water pump from the bathrooms?
I mean, this is just the main flats. The park's a whole other animal, but the work is.
Because I said the water pump was sticking out, but.
It is the sewer pump.
Oh,
He was all over me about not fixing that stuff yet, but I don't see wasting taxpayer dollars to fix something that's gonna wash away again in the summer. I wanna wait till the flooding threat resides before I spend any money fixing it. Unless y'all tell me that y'all want me to fix it, I'll fix it. I just don't think it's smart to fix it and pave and all that, if you're potentially gonna let that area flood again in the summer.
I do know there's a lot of people that are going down to the tubes of water again, so. I mean, it might be something that we look at farther down the road. With, how much of those water lines that are in that river right there? Are they staying there, are they?
There's a sewer line that crosses about 6 foot above the water. It is coming out and you'll be bound to the bridge to get away from water. Water lines, everything else are in the bridge to protect it.
Yes, ma'am.
down at the Riverside Park, is it possible to put porta potties?
Yeah,
At least that would relieve some of the pressure during the summer.
possibly, yes. Except for the budget doesn't allow for it right now.
Oh,
But when the budget does, I guess we could look at it.
Oh. Inside the bathroom at parties, is there a holding tank there?
Please.
Can we just have that tank pumped out eventually.
No, sir, it's literally full of dirt, full of sand.
So it
It
don't
filled
do
with
anything.
but it's gotta just come out when you want to put it in. And they're not super expensive, about 30,000, we can replace. But then if it floods, it's gonna be the exact same thing.
We can't just clean the tank out.
No, sir, because it got in the pump and everything, it destroyed the whole snow walls.
Okay.
When you're talking about in the future, until the barn scars rise back up, get a few trees planted in them. We've got, everybody says 3 to 5 years, and federal government says 5 to 7 years, I believe, the federal government on this. Because we've had the flood from last year, then we had 3 from, year before last, we had the floods. Then we had 3 this last year, and those weren't expected, and everybody's saying, oh, we should be good, we should be good. Until everything above us is taken care of, everything that we see in our lives down here is gonna continue to flood for the next 5 to 7 years. This is our risk.
Sorry.
So computers.
So, given what Mr. Proctor just said. When would this project start? It's a pretty big project.
So we're getting kind of in left field, because this is the project now, and this has nothing to do with the park.
Right.
This project, I would guess, for Spaghetti Flats. By the time the state gets through the paperwork and we meet the engineers, it'll probably be September. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be probably 3 months to design it, because we gotta do a hydrological study of the area. To figure out what to do with the water, like your intersection, the other beside Beavers, we gotta figure out how to get the water out of there. So it's gonna take a little time. I bet this job don't start till early spring.
Right. And how long do you project that will take?
Their initial, when we discussed this in their local grant, was about 120 days. There's some issues there with getting easements and some other things that we need to get done, or it's not gonna function properly, so.
We have a whole lot of moving parts in that area with the buyback. Of the properties that they go, I don't know that all of them are gonna go, so it's gonna be a pretty fluid
And then
give and take.
being that there's basically one entrance back there. Is that going to be
We
a
talked-
problem with for
It's
people
gonna be
that live
tough.
back there?
It's gonna be very tight. I will probably try to see if we have a reason that the road has to be blocked, I'll get with the racetrack and we'll try to get something. To make, the exit through the racetrack, so short term.
In the past, when we've had those issues, there's some private property there, and we've made arrangements with him in the past to be able to gain a second entrance, an alternate route.
Right.
So something we'll have to discuss at the time, but it's happened in the past.
It's $4 million you got for that. Is that you putting in the base horse and stuff, or is that?
This will be, because it looks like. Well, we were gonna have to do the sewer line ourselves. We have been fighting with FEMA for a couple months now, and we're like right on the edge of getting it approved. If FEMA covers that, then we won't have to do nothing. If FEMA doesn't cover the sewer line, we're gonna have to do the sewer line ourselves. And it's really crazy how the rules are. They'll replace the sewer line exactly where it's at. But they won't give you the money to fix the problem and get it out of it, so. Dennis-
Let's go back the way it was.
So Dennis Dukes, our guy that's helping us with all FEMA stuff, he has been fighting nonstop, and actually the FEMA lady here has been on our side, like. Why would you spend 20 grand here when, it's gonna wash away, cause more issues environmentally? This is fixed it like once and be done, so hopefully
They moved up higher.
it'll be along the bridge, just like Park Roots,
Okay.
be protected by the bridge.
And that won't fall under the job, it'll be strictly Albertson Road.
Yes, if I can get FEMA to cover, we're good, if not, then we're gonna do some work.
Any further discussion? So. Roll call.
Counselor Lacewell,
Aye.
Counselor Proctor,
Aye.
Counselor Eustace,
Aye.
Counselor Taylor.
We have a question. I don't remember the last time that when we did this with Dennis Engineering, I don't remember everybody signing the paper. This looks like there's stuff we have to sign as counselors.
Okay, so the paperwork included is with the grant itself. So it's like their form that they have submitted to us to have signature. That is part of, the work, yes.
I got myself mixed up. This has nothing to do with distribution and purpose. It's a grant. And so do we sign that tonight or at another time?
By another time.
No, Joe?
Yeah, I need this tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am. We're trying to
It's
find-
not even tonight. Okay.
Remember, I know you're.
Joe would can wait.
You sure it's with the other time?
This.
Joey's gonna tackle at the door if we leave.
Yes.
Okay, nobody leave without sign.
Any questions, further discussion? All right, moving on to the next item, approval of proclamation number 2026-01. The proclamation restricting the sale and use of certain fireworks due to extreme fire danger.
Mayor,
This one,
I will make a motion to approve proclamation number 2026-01 as stated.
Second.
Mayor, members of council, Governor Grisham, enacted an executive order encouraging municipalities and localities to, adopt a proclamation. The attorney confirmed that it's just for 30 days, but as Fire Chief Keck has confirmed that there's never fireworks allowed within our city limits. So the formality of adopting to follow suit, that reflects the executive order. We're doing our due diligence, basically, so in support.
basically just a reminder,
Yeah,
you know, common sense will tell you not to, but not everybody has common sense. So
that just within the city limits, we can't prohibit, like if someone goes out on the Forest Service land. Of like,
No, we don't have, authority over that jurisdiction, just the city limits.
should make the call, see you.
citizens be aware.
But if you contact, dispatch, consolidated dispatch and tell them where, and they'll send the troops.
Yes, questions, you have questions?
Yeah, so listed here are rockets, stick type rockets, helicopters, aerial spinners, ground audible devices, and any other fireworks classified. What is I guess I would like a clarification on ground audible devices. That would be,
So that was
Just
like
like
fire
first?
inspectors, so that would be like,
Have you seen those ones that they're on little tanks and you not live, but then you like, and you light them up and you're rolling and they are really.
so the
That was Texas.
Right?
well, it's helicopters. I don't know. I don't
came
really.
from the state and basically, no.
Okay.
They're trying to,
If it pops, no, because ground audible devices, I mean, I don't know.
they're
Felt
cool.
like a ground or.
That's not the little snap pops, you snap them down. That,
They're just trying to be descriptive as possible, so in case somebody has a challenge, they have all the descriptions in there. But yeah, there's plenty of help anyway. There's a bunch. You could just throw them up,
So
but
basically, what was the answer that you're looking for?
This is, my question was, this isn't prohibiting people to use like their little remote controlled vehicles or
No, no,
anything
no.
like that.
No, no.
That's what it
As long
sounds,
as it
right?
doesn't have fire coming out of it or.
We're good.
it's combustible.
You're good to go,
Okay.
because those pops, it throws out sparks.
Oh, yeah, those work.
Some of them don't even pop though, right? They just sparkle. Okay.
So, I'm the one that I like the best. Roll call that, I thought that was it, yes. Call please.
Counselor Taylor,
Aye.
Counselor Lacewell, aye. Counselor Dubetis, aye. Counselor Tucker.
Now, let's adjourn, let's go home, everybody.
We got to see if we can, this is something that we can all sign.
Yes.